With that, let's move into our practice for today, and I'm really delighted to have this opportunity just to, like many or like all of you, um, feeling uh, feeling the impact of collective anxiety, heartbreak, fear, um, tumult, whether it's personal or social or political. And as we move towards Shabbat together, it's an opportunity to remember that Shabbat is not meant actually as a refuge from what's going on in our lives in the world. It's actually meant to imbue us with the spiritual awareness and qualities that we need to be with and to meet whatever challenges we're facing, whether they're personal health challenges or familial challenges or employment challenges, whatever it may be, um, or the ills of the world, or the war, or the heartbreak that that we are facing, and don't need to enumerate all the challenges. Everyone is familiar with the challenges. So our practice, which in a sense is a Shabbat practice every day, we meet at this time to have a little bit of Shabbat in our lives. And by that, I mean to move into a state of awareness for a short period of time where we let go of judgment, we let go of opinions, we set that aside, and instead of conviction or assumptions or preconceptions, we open our mind and we practice curiosity. We practice not knowing. We practice letting go of certainty. We just open ourselves, and we do that with as much compassion, with as much chesed as possible. That is able to open us up to release the tightness and constriction that comes with the need to know or figure things out, or to have the answer, or to know how to respond. We build in this Shabbat pause, which is that space that we all need just to be, to breathe, not to do, but to be, in order to hopefully be able to access the wisdom that we need in order to do wisely when we come out of that space. So we do that every day, Monday through Fridays. Well, perhaps you do it on Sundays as well. And then Shabbat offers us an opportunity to do this deep dive into Shabbat practice, into Shabbat mind, Shabbat consciousness. We do that for the sake of being able to, forgive the expression, but maybe it works for you, microdose Shabbat throughout the week, moment by moment, just to insert a little microsecond of Shabbat where we let go of the need to know, to figure out, to solve, to fix, to change, and we soften enough to be able to respond wisely rather than be in a state of reactivity. Sounds simple, but as we know, easier said than done. So for our practice today, I just want to really invite us to prepare for Shabbat together, and have this a little bit of an extended time to engage in that Shabbat practice. So just to give you a little preview, we'll just begin by letting go of the week in our bodies, in our emotions, in our mind, in our spirit, just setting things down as we might for Shabbat. And then I want to invite us to kind of move into two of the rituals that we associate with Shabbat and Friday night: lighting candles and making kiddush, holding a cup of wine or grape juice that represents the blessings in our lives, gratitude practice. So let's move right into our practice today. And there's no sheet, nothing to look at. I want to invite you to take a moment to turn your attention away from the screen if you're looking at the screen. And you can either close your eyes or just bring your attention inward. Do that by softening your gaze, letting your eyes go to a soft focus. I'm going to close my eyes myself. Let's just keep things simple. I'm going to begin by settling into the seat. And we're going to bring some attention to our body, do a little simple body scan. So it can begin by, if it's possible for you to put the soles of your feet, place them on the floor beneath you, or just notice your feet resting on the floor. Find a position in your chair or sofa or whatever you're sitting on, just to check your posture and see if you can roll your shoulders back, open the chest a little bit, press the crown of the head upwards a little bit so that we can feel a connection between what is above us and what is beneath us, and feel our bodies as kind of a connector or conduit between the upper realms and the lower realms, between heaven and earth, between the spiritual and the material, the physical. Because we are both physical beings and we are spiritual beings. So simple body scan. We're choosing as our anchor sensations in the body. So see if you can notice your toes, maybe wiggle them a little bit. Left side, right side. Let them grip the floor. And as we move up through the body, let's see if we can stay with the awareness of the parts of the body that we have already brought our attention to. So starting with the toes, left side, right side, just checking what's there. And moving our attention, our awareness up the body, noticing the feet, soles of the feet, the heels, the instep on both sides, so on. Really fully occupying our feet. Maybe feeling some appreciation for them, and maybe also noticing any discomfort or anything that you might wish were otherwise. And if that is the case, you can just note that and let it go. And then we're just going to continue to bring our attention up. And as we do, stay in contact with everything that we've covered already. So toes, feet, ankles, calves, shins, bringing attention up through the legs to those vulnerable knees, the joints there, and just holding awareness of the lower legs now up to the knees, and then continuing up through the thighs, feeling maybe the thighs resting on the seat. Maybe your hands are resting on the top of your thighs. Being fully aware of our legs, and up through the pelvis, sacrum, where the upper body meets the lower body, and the hips, and the belly. Noticing the belly expanding, rising and falling as we receive breath. Continuing to breathe as we bring awareness up through the body. Remembering the toes, the feet, the lower legs, the thighs, the pelvis, sacrum, the belly and the lower back. The rib cage, noticing that expanding and contracting to accommodate our lungs as they expand and contract with the breath. Rib cage protecting the lungs and the organs. Connecting with our spines, supporting the back. the shoulders, breathing. And as you notice any tightness or tension in the body, letting that subside, letting the breath bring some ease. Any part that has constricted, or tightened over the course of the week. We're trying to breathe a little more easily. So we've got awareness from our toes up through our torso, upper back, shoulder blades, shoulders, and bringing awareness to our arms, down through the upper arms, and noticing the elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Noticing the position of the hands, no right or wrong here. If they're clenched up, see if you can, as you breathe, allow them to blossom and open a little bit. Just find a position that's comfortable, it's open. See if you can, in your mind's eye and in your body, be aware of your fingers, your thumbs, and all those fingers. Bring some ease to those with the breath. Palms of your hand. Back up through the arms to the neck. It carries so much stress. Breathing into the neck, and with our mind, giving it a little massage, a little bit of tenderness, treating all the body with a lot of chesed, a lot of loving care. Honoring this mikdash ma'at, this small sanctuary, this temple of the soul, and all the hard work it's been through. Take care of us without our even being aware of it. And continuing to bring awareness up into our head, to the face, maybe dropping the jaw a little bit, opening. Don't worry about what this looks like. Just let your jaw drop a little bit. A lot of tension in the jaw, a lot of stress registers there. Maybe a sigh of relief. Into your cheeks and nose and eyes and forehead and temples, and then up to the crown of the head, top of your skull. Let's rest in this awareness of our bodies from head to toe. And we can practice Shabbat consciousness in relation to our body by practicing accepting it exactly as it is, whatever its condition right now. It's gratitude for having a body, for being an embodied soul in this world. There might be plenty of objections and complaints, and they might have lots of merit. Just put those to the side for now. However the body is. And now I want to invite us to take a moment to light the candles together. We have these two Shabbat lights representing representing, at least in part, representing the idea of the additional soul that we're imbued with on Shabbat. So as Shabbat begins to approach, so does that neshama yetera, the additional soul. Whether you believe in additional soul or not, with Shabbat awareness, we're able to have an additional awareness of our essential spiritual nature, our neshama, our breath, part of ourselves that is connected to the infinite, that existed before we were born and will exist after we're gone. Our essential self that is part of everything. So we want to welcome that neshama yetera into our bodies. And if you're comfortable doing so, there's the tradition of waving the hands 3 times over the flames of the Shabbat candles that we light and bringing that light, bringing that neshama, bringing that spiritual awareness into ourselves. So I want to invite you to, if you'd like, to make those motions with your hands as if you're over the lights. See if you can just bring that light, bring those neirot, bring that neshama energy into yourself, into your body, and see if you can allow it to fill that body from head to toe and down the arms and into the fingers, and until your whole being feels full of that light, full of that ore. And breathe. You can set your hands down if you've been waving them. Let's just sit for a few minutes silently. This is just a moment of Shabbat, just being, not doing, not judging, no opinion, resting in awareness and resting in consciousness of our spirit in our bodies right now. If your mind wanders away, you start daydreaming or lose your focus, just come back to the body, come back to holding awareness of your entire body and awareness of it being filled with that Shabbat light, filled with your additional Shabbat soul right now. Even if it's just for a moment, just keep coming back. Remembering to breathe, to be aware of the breath coming and going. Remembering the body, remembering the additional soul. And I want to invite you to set down any lingering anxieties, worries, grudges, resentments that might impede you moving into Shabbat. Just you can come back to them later. See if you can surrender those for a little bit, set them down aside, put them on the shelf. And instead of that critical voice, let's see if we can amplify the voice of gratitude and make kiddush together. And we can do that by, if you'd like, invited to take your right hand, which represents the side of chesed in the Kabbalistic and Jewish mystical framework, and make a cup, make your own kos kiddush cup with your right hand. And you could take your left hand, which represents the quality of gevura, of strength, of limitation, and support your right hand with that left hand. You can place it under the right hand or on the side. Steady the hand of chesed, of loving kindness, with the hand of gevura. And just take a moment to fill that cup in your mind's eye with the blessings of your life today. Whatever gratitude you can access for what is present in your life. And see if you can imagine that cup filling from the bottom up to the top and hopefully up to the brim and overflowing. And stay with it. Keep filling the cup. Keep thinking of something that could be on your gratitude list. People, aspects of your life, the view from your window, whatever it is. The air against your face right now. Gratitude for this right now. And with that awareness of our bodies, awareness of the additional soul that is filling us with light right now, with awareness of that cup filled with gratitude. If your eyes have been closed, I want to invite everybody to begin to allow them to open or come together to the group and maybe lift up your cup together. And say Shabbat Shalom to each other. Let's say it audibly. Shabbat Shalom. And some of us are in mourning. Some of us are observing the art sites. Some of us participate in the Mourner's Kaddish. And I want to invite those of you for whom that's the case, to put the name or names of anybody like to honor today in the chat now or after we recite Kaddish. And again, as always, if you're not reciting Kaddish, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to be supportive for those who are experiencing loss right now by just staying present for them and offering your compassion and support through your presence. And thanks to Natalie for sharing the words of the Kaddish on the screen. And if you are reciting it, I invite you to join me by saying in body and spirit, and you can unmute this team. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbi. Ma divra sivate
Te,
Kaya Kon,
Kaya
Yom
Kon,
Kon,
Yom Kon,
Kaved, Bit Israel, Ba'agala, Visman Karev, Ru,
Amen.
Yehi, Shmei Rabba Mefarach, Am Olamid,
Maya,
Yitbarach, Yishabach, Yitpa'ar, Yit'alam, Yit'aseh, Yit'adar, Yit'alev, Yit'alal, Shmei Dekushata, V'bechu, Ela Mikol Birchata V'Shirata, Ushbechata V'Nechemata, Amiran Ba'alma, V'Yeru Shani, Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chaim V'Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Yeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Namara, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'Yeru.
Amen.
Friends, thank you so much, as always, for joining us today. And I want to wish everyone a sweet, restorative Shabbat. I want to thank our friend, our teacher, my colleague, Rabbi Laura Geller, for sponsoring today's practice in loving memory of her husband, Richard Siegel. Zichrono livracha, may his memory always be a blessing. And thanks each of you for being here, and thanks to Natalie Rushina for holding our space so beautifully as always, and wrapping up what was really a wonderful week of practice. If you're leaving us now, hope you'll join us next week. We'll be here all week, Monday through Friday. Just noting that I'll be away myself on Monday and Tuesday at an IJS clergy retreat. Looking forward to welcoming back Rabbi Jordan Ben Appel, who'll be hosting the sit on Monday and doing a lot of guest hosting over the next few weeks this summer, and occasionally leading the sit himself. Just a note that Jordan, some of you may know, actually initiated this sit pre-pandemic. We used to meet once a week, I believe on Wednesdays at 12:30, and it was Jordan's brainchild, his idea. He was the host, led it frequently, and if he hadn't done that, we wouldn't be here. So it's really beautiful to welcome Jordan back to the faculty at IJS as our senior faculty fellow this year, and I'm so delighted that he'll have an opportunity to hold space and teach this community, which is a community that's really indebted to him. I'm happy to stay on and respond to questions or comments in the chat if you're leaving us now. Again, wish you a sweet restorative Shabbat, and we'll see you on the other side on Monday at our usual time. Oh, and one more reminder, in case you don't know, but probably do, you may remember that we turn at least one of these sessions into a podcast we call Jewish Meditation for Everyone. A new episode was released yesterday that features the teaching from Jenna Zadaka of At the Well this past Monday for the month of Tammuz. So if you missed Monday or want to revisit that, it's available in a podcast format. It's really quite beautiful. And in fact, yesterday's sit led by Rabbi Genevieve Greinitz will be released as an episode in that series, Jewish Meditation for Everyone, this coming Monday. So if you haven't, please subscribe. Please pass the word. Let people know that there's another venue for practicing with IJS. All right, and with that, I'm going to take a look at the chat. Thank you all so much for the kind words. Yes, Laura Geller and Richard Siegel, Zichrono livracha, Gedolei Hador. Thank you, Cantor Ricky, for that. I want to thank, the truth is, I want to thank you for this opportunity to do this, because it really represents what I would aspire to do on Friday nights, with time and spaciousness, to really take that time to sit before the Friday night ritual of lighting the candles, to really be aware of the body, to really accept the body as it is, to, like many of you, an aging body that isn't what it used to be, to be aware of this additional soul or this expanded sense of the spiritual dimension arising and filling that, to really have that kind of intentionality about lighting candles and bringing that light into us, and really to practice hodaya, to practice gratitude when we make kiddush, to really experience ourselves as holding the cup of blessing um, in chesed, in loving compassion. So a marriage of gratitude and love, supported by Gevura, reminding us of the point of that attribute of Gevura, of strength, of the ability to use our energy to set boundaries. Can you say more about the additional soul and the origin of this concept in our tradition? Good question. And I am actually not sure. Maybe somebody here has knows. Um, uh, oh, thank you for that, Ricky, about the 20th yard site of Naomi Shemer. Did not know that. I don't know the origin. I am imagining that it is a Kabbalistic, but I don't know if it's a rabbinic concept or a Kabbalistic concept. Of course, the Kabbalists, who of medieval Spain, gave a lot of attention to Friday evening and the transition from the week into Shabbat, and in fact developed the whole Kabbalat Shabbat liturgy, which didn't exist previously. They created a whole liturgy as a kind of bridge transition from in the liminal space between the 6 days of the week and Shabbat. So I am suspecting that's the origin, but I'm not sure. Oh, somebody had it. Thank you, Natasha. It's in the Talmud. Check it out. Beitzah 16a. Look it up on Sefaria. I will do that after I'm done. Thank you so much. So it is of rabbinic origin. Thanks for that. I also want to note, another yard site, not a yard site, but a death of an artist, Mordechai Rosenstein. Some of you may notice this piece of artwork behind me, which is hard to tell, but it says Tanglewood, since I'm up in the Berkshires and not far from Tanglewood, created by Mordechai Rosenstein, who's very well known Jewish artist who passed away just a couple of days ago. Apparently, I had not known that, but someone told me that. May his memory be a blessing. I know his art brings great pleasure and joy to many. I want to note that. And let's see if there's any other. Oh, thanks, Pam, about the image of the hands blossoming. For me, it's also really for me, it's kind of amazing when I scan my body. And I want to just also note that body scans are not for everyone. They actually can be dysregulating for some people. So I hope that wasn't the case for people. But if you engage in that and you find yourself actually triggered in some way, or dissociating or freezing, or the suggested adaptation is to certainly open your eyes and be aware of what's going on outside you. So was neglected to mention that, but in case if that's the case for you, I want to pass that along. It's amazing to me when I do a body scan, think like, I really forgot I had a body. I live completely in my mind, so I think, oh, toes, feet, fingers. And then we become aware of what's actually going on in there. And like my fingers, I think, wow, there's so much of my emotional life is in my fingers and the position of my fingers. And if I can allow them to unfurl, or I think I did use the word blossom, like the petals of a flower to open up. For me, it's a good embodied practice. All right, good stuff here. Thank you. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Reish Lakish. God gives each person additional soul, even Shabbat, which remains until sundown. Yeah, so many ways to think about that additional soul. Lori's mentioning the assembling of souls we love as the additional soul. You can think about community as representing this. Um, mm. And thanks, Nancy, for bringing in Rabbi Sam Feinsmith's teaching or suggestion that our bodies, reminding us that our bodies themselves are not separate from other energy fields. They're energy fields, and that are suffused with that spiritual energy. There is um, that we can find that soul not separate from the body, but actually in our bodies, in our emotions, in our thoughts, and in essential aspect of ourselves that lies beyond thought, emotion, and body. But beautifully, really, just a beautiful and important concept in Jewish mysticism, something that we offer in our Awaken program. For those of you who've done it, or a little teaser for those of you who haven't, we'll offer it in the fall, is this what's called a four worlds approach, which is to understand that all four dimensions, the physical, the emotional, the mental slash intellectual, and spiritual, all have a spiritual dimension. They're all infused with soul, or as Sam suggested, we think about that as there's an energy field that represents the sacred and divine in all four dimensions. So, okay, I think maybe we'll leave it here. Again, thanks so much for being here and for joining in this Shabbat practice today. I hope it's meaningful and will add to your Shabbat ritual in the future and ease your path into Shabbat this evening. And much gratitude again to Laura for sponsoring today, and to Natalie for holding our space, and to each of you for being here. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Be safe and